This nut should be avoided at all costs after the age of 60 if you are concerned about the health of your heart and brain. What if the nut you consume on a daily basis is covertly reducing the length of your life? Our bodies are unable to process some foods in the same manner as they did in the past as we get older. Recent research in the field of medicine have demonstrated that activities that seemed harmless when you were in your 40s may actually be harmful to you when you are in your 60s and beyond. Among the categories, which one has gotten unusually difficult? It's nuts. Indeed, nuts, despite the fact that many of them are lauded for their health. The reality is that a few of them pose concealed dangers to people who are older. The majority of people don't even become aware of it until after the damage has already been done. It's possible that certain nuts are reducing your lifespan without your knowledge. Whether it's because of the way they're produced or the oils that are used to coat them. After the age of 60, you should either steer clear of nuts or products based on nuts altogether or approach them with extreme caution. We will discuss these 6 specific things in this video. We will help you make better decisions for your heart, your brain, and your long-term vitality by giving you an explanation of what is happening in your body, breaking down the hidden hazards, and explaining what is happening. In the event that you have ever considered it to be nothing more than a snack, what could possibly go wrong with it? Your way of thinking might shift after watching this video. It's time to get started. At the top of the list is the salted cocktail mix. It is not uncommon for individuals to grab a handful of those mixed nuts from a jar without giving it a second thought. Particularly the variety that is branded as a party favorite or snack blend combination. On the other hand, for people who are in their latter years, that salty cocktail mix can be subtly destroying your health on a daily basis. The initial warning sign? It's a mountain of sodium. There are astonishingly large quantities of sodium that are frequently found in salted nut blends, with some servings containing well over 200 milligrams altogether. And if we are being completely honest, when was the last time you stopped at just 1 scoop? Without even realizing it, it is simple to consume 2, 3, or even 4 handfuls of this. The amount of salt that you consume on a regular basis puts a significant amount of strain on your cardiovascular system. In the years after the age of 70, your arteries naturally get less elastic, your kidneys filter more slowly, and your blood pressure becomes more sensitive to sodium levels that are excessive. Although a younger body might recover more rapidly, it is possible that yours will not. There is also the problem of the oils to consider. The majority of commercial nut mixes are usually roasted to a low standard. For example, canola oil, soybean oil, or even cottonseed oil are examples of vegetable or seed oils. When subjected to heat and air, these oils are prone to oxidation because they contain a high concentration of omega-6 fatty acids. Fats that have been oxidized cause inflammation throughout the body, particularly in the joints and blood vessels respectively. For individuals over the age of 70, whose inflammation is already at a greater level owing to the effects of aging, adding extra from diet might result in persistent discomfort, increased heart risks, and a diminished immune response. At the psychological level, these nut combinations produce a fictitious feeling of well-being, due to the fact that nuts are marketed as being beneficial to the heart. Many elderly people do not consider them to be snacks but rather a more intelligent food option. So they are consumed more frequently, and sometimes they even take the place of meals. However, behind that appearance of wholesomeness is a snack that has been industrially processed, salted, and laden with preservatives in order to increase its shelf life and addictiveness. Moreover, it is not all. Numerous cocktail mixes also contain glazed or sweetened nuts, and the majority of the time, the inclusion of these nuts is not made clear on the front label. These come with a coating that is composed of dextrose, caramel color, and corn syrup solids, all of these things that your body is unable to digest effectively as you get older. Sugars cause an increase in blood glucose levels, contribute to the accumulation of fat in the abdominal region, and serve as a source of fuel, unnoticed inflammation that hastens the aging process in your organs and cells, cells. Consider someone like Harold, a former bus driver in Ohio, who recounted to me that he used to consume a tub of those mixed nuts on a weekly basis. It was his opinion that they were superior to chips. On the other hand, when his physician discovered that his blood pressure was getting dangerously close to unsafe levels, it was not red meat or sugar that was the offender. It was those nuts that appeared to be harmless within the cabinet in his living room. Harold eliminated them from his diet, replaced them with raw almonds and walnuts in modest amounts, and within a period of 6 weeks, his levels returned to the normal range. It is possible that it is time to get rid of those colorful tins if they are already residing in your pantry, or, even worse, if they are currently within arm's reach of your recliner. Your intellect, your joints, and your heart will all be forever grateful to you. Sugar-coated candied nuts come up at number 2 on the list. They provide you that delicious crunch, along with a festive appearance and a fantastic aroma. Candy-coated almonds, on the other hand, are among the most deceiving treats you are able to keep about the house, particularly after the age of 70. These sugar-laden snacks, whether they are honey-roasted peanuts, cinnamon-glazed almonds, or caramelized pecans, are causing more harm than the majority of people are aware of. It all begins with the sugar. As one might expect, approximately 10 to 15 grams of additional sugar can be found in a single handful of candied nuts. In only one snack, that is about half of the daily maximum that is suggested for people for older citizens. However, this is when things start to get risky. Sugar, when combined with fats such as those found in nuts, offers the ideal conditions for the accumulation of arterial plaque accumulation. In and of itself, the lipids found in nuts can be helpful. However, when mixed with sugars and caramelization processes, they quickly oxidize and lose their therapeutic properties. This oxidation results in the production of advanced glycation end products, also known as AGEs. These AGEs promote the acceleration of the aging process of your tissues and cause the blood vessels to become more rigid. You really do not want something like that to take place when you are in your 70s or 80s. The subsequent event is the insulin surge. In order to metabolize that sugar, your pancreas needs to exert more effort, which is especially true as you get older because insulin sensitivity tends to decrease. The more frequently these spikes occur, the greater the likelihood that you will store visceral fat, particularly in the region of your abdominal cavity and organs. This, in turn, raises the likelihood that you will develop cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and even some malignancies. Over the course of time, something that once appeared to be nothing more than a pleasure turns out to be a subtle speeding up of the aging process. Candy nuts also present a harm to one's emotional well-being. Comfort food is what they are. In addition, when we are feeling lonely, exhausted, or stressed out, which is something that frequently occurs in our older years, it is simple to grab for something sweet that brings back memories of celebrations or get-togethers. However, the metabolic toll is not worth the nostalgia that it brings. It is a momentary emotional boost that ultimately results in a longer-term loss in physical health. A woman named Patricia, who was 76 years old at the time, placed a dish of cinnamon pecans on the dining table in her home. I was told by her that they make me feel warm on the inside. On the other hand, when her A1C began to creep into the pre-diabetic zone and her energy levels began to decrease, she began to pay attention to the frequency with which her hand used to dip into that bowl. As it turned out, she was consuming meals that were comparable to desserts on a daily basis in the afternoon. Following the substitution of a few unsweetened roasted walnuts and herbal tea for them, she experienced a progressive reduction in her cravings, which in turn led to a reduction in her blood sugar problems. What exactly is the lesson to be learned from this? The appearance of candied nuts may seem innocent and even wholesome, but after the age of 70, they become a trap. A handful on a daily basis can subtly contribute to inflammation, cause a spike in blood sugar, and expedite the decline of cardiovascular health, all while giving the impression of a reward. Whenever you have a want for anything sweet, there are more secure alternatives to satiate that desire. But what about these sugar bombs that are hiding as snacks? The price that you pay for them is not justified. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. In third place, the party nuts that are excessively salted. They appear to be a simple and light snack, and they are packaged in gleaming tins throughout the holiday season. They are also served in crystal bowls at social occasions. However, those nuts, cashews, peanuts, and almonds that are severely salted and blended together, all of which are clothed in sodium and occasionally include artificial tastes, are not doing aging bodies any favors. In point of fact, they are subtly causing damage to your central nervous system, kidneys, and even your brain. Let's begin with the salt, shall we? When we get older, our kidneys inherently become less effective in filtering sodium out of our bodies. In other words, the same quantity of salt that did not appear to have any impact on you when you were in your 40s can now induce spikes in your blood pressure, increased water retention, and increased strain on your heart. It is common for elderly people who snack on salted nuts throughout the day to be unaware that they are taking hundreds of milligrams of sodium without ever picking up a salt shaker. Adding insult to injury is the fact that it is so covert. There is a good reason why high blood pressure is frequently referred to as the silent killer. The only warning signals that are there are slow damage to your arteries, vision, and memory. There are no early warning signs. Furthermore, if you already have hypertension, eating salted nuts will only make the condition worse. Some kinds are sprayed with flavor enhancers such as monosodium, glutamate, or other chemical preservatives, which can also cause headaches or stomach troubles in people who are sensitive to these substances. Additionally, the salty coating has an effect on the mechanism that controls your thirst. If you are taking diuretics or are experiencing warmer months, it is more problematic since it confuses your body into thinking that you are not dehydrated when in fact you are. The feeling of lightheadedness when standing, or the fogginess that occurs in the afternoon and evening. Aging might not be the only factor. The contents of your snack bowl could be the culprit. This brings us to the portion control trap. It is common for us to underestimate the amount of nuts we consume due to their small size and crunchy texture. 2 fast handfuls while you're watching television and another while you're talking on the phone, and all of a sudden you've consumed half of the tin. Not only does that contain salt, but it also contains a significant amount of calories, which will discreetly contribute to weight growth. When you are in your 70s and 80s, carrying additional weight has a negative impact on more than just your joints. The mobility, balance, and overall energy levels are all directly impacted by it. A man named Dennis, who was 81 years old at the time, was described to me as having been battling with swelling in his ankles for several months. His physician had made adjustments to his meds, examined his circulation, and even examined him for heart problems. But it wasn't until his wife casually revealed his habit of eating nut bowls at a checkup that the dots started to connect to one another. His sodium balance was being negatively impacted by the fact that he had been eating salted cashews every day without even realizing it. He was able to lessen the edema and feel more energized within a few days after he reduced his consumption of these nuts and replaced them with unsalted roasted nuts that contained a little bit of lemon zest. When compared to cookies or chips, salted almonds could appear to be a more desirable option. However, around the age of 70, your body won't be able to process sodium as it once did. This minuscule amount of additional flavor can subtly take your health in the wrong direction, day after day, without you even realizing it. Consequently, if you find yourself reaching for a snack, choose for something that your body will be grateful for. Because, regardless of whether you are aware of it or not, your brain, kidneys, and heart are all listening to you. Fourth, the trail mix that gives the impression of being healthy. The marketing of trail mix as a nutritious and energizing snack has been going on for quite some time. An assortment of dried fruits, nuts, seeds, and even a little piece of chocolate on occasion. How horrible could it possibly be? But the reality is more challenging for those who are past the age of 70. There is a possibility that a mixture that appears to be healthy could actually be a covert source of sugar surges, an excessive amount of calories, and hidden fats that are not beneficial to your aging body. First, let's talk about the fruit that has been dried. Although fruit is beneficial, dried versions of it frequently contain more sugar and a higher concentration of calories. The only thing that remains after the water has been extracted is a little chewy piece that is loaded with fructose and is frequently coated with additional sugars or even sulfites in order to maintain its color. Even a modest handful of dried banana chips or cranberries that have been sweetened might contain more sugar than a slice of cake. Additionally, it does not leave you feeling as full as it did before, which makes it simple to keep coming back for more. Afterwards, add that sugar on top of the fat that is contained in the nuts. A number of trail mixes contain nuts that have been honey roasted, oil roasted, or chocolate covered, which transforms them into miniature calorie bombs. Even though you may believe that you are snacking wisely, each mouthful provides a flow of energy that your body may not require, particularly if you are not engaging in any physical activity. What is the end result? There is an increase in insulin levels, a progressive deposit of fat around the waist, and a rising of blood sugar levels, precisely the kind of fat that raises the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and even memory loss in those who are in their later years. In addition to that, there is the psychological aspect. We relax our guard just a little bit since trail mix has a natural appearance and frequently comes in packaging that includes terms like organic, energizing, or heart healthy. It's simple to consume a lot more food than you had planned to. She goes by the name Clara, and she is 72 years old. When she was younger, she would graze on trail mix while she worked on crossword puzzles. One day, she actually weighed the amount of food that she had consumed in a single sitting, which was close to 600 calories. In fact, she had just experienced a hazy sense of contentment. Also, she was doing this on a daily basis. The salty-sweet combination is another area of concern. There are a lot of trail mixes that contain both sugar and salt in order to create a flavor contrast that will keep you wanting more. In your brain, the pleasure regions are activated when you combine those two things. Indeed, even if you are in your 70s or 80s, exactly like fast food does, it comes in a pouch that can be sealed back up. And it is a silent addiction. Now, what is the solution? Make your own trail mix at home if you are someone who actually enjoys it. The use of unsalted raw nuts, the addition of a small handful of unsweetened dried fruit, such as plain raisins or tart cherries, and the incorporation of seeds such as pumpkin or sunflower are all recommended. The portion should be kept small, and you should enjoy it as if it were a treat rather than a meal. As we become older, something that was once considered a harmless snack can become a potential health risk. Trail mix is one of those foods that may appear to be beneficial to you, but it may actually be detrimental to your health as a result of your consumption of it without your knowledge. I would appreciate it if you could use the fourth comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Corn nuts, which are surprisingly crunchy, come in at number 5. Your memories of road vacations might be brought back by corn nuts. Either quick food from the convenience shop or ball games. But if you are over the age of 70, this nostalgic crunch may come at a significant cost to you. In the beginning, they don't appear to be all that horrible, considering that they are made from corn, which is a vegetable. Am I correct? However, this is what the majority of people fail to notice. Unlike corn on the cob that has been steamed, these golden kernels are not the same thing. To put it another way, they are so dry that they are virtually screaming for a glass of water merely to be swallowed. They are deep fried, generously salted, and extremely dry. The first step in the production of corn nuts is to soak huge corn kernels, and then to deep fry them until they reach a condition where they are extremely hard. The crispiness of such texture is not natural. This is due to the fact that they have become dehydrated and saturated with oil, which not only makes them tough to chew but also makes them difficult to digest. In older folks, who frequently have teeth that are more fragile, gums that are more sensitive, or digestive processes that are slower, consuming corn nuts can become a dental risk as well as a stomachache all at the same time. On the other hand, the most significant problem is what lies underlying the crunch. A single handful of corn nuts can contain more than 200 milligrams of sodium, which is the typical amount found in corn nuts purchased from stores. This may not seem frightening at first, but for elderly people who are attempting to maintain healthy kidneys or keep their blood pressure under control, even modest amounts of sodium that are consumed in excess can quickly pile up. On top of that, once you begin crunching, it is difficult to stop. Despite the fact that your body is softly objecting, you can't help but go for the bag again and again because of its seductive feel. Furthermore, there is the oil. A great number of corn nuts are fried in vegetable oils such as soybean or canola, which are frequently refined and oxidized during the process of cooking at high temperatures. This indicates that they include dangerous substances that are known to induce inflammation in the body, which is something that elderly people should endeavor to avoid, particularly those who suffer from arthritis, heart problems, or cognitive troubles. Also, if you are concerned about the health of your digestive tract, which is more susceptible to damage as you get older, here is something to think about. This extremely dry crunch takes additional effort from your digestive tract, which frequently does not have sufficient amounts of water or fiber to assist it in its task. Constipation, bloating, and that awful heavy sensation in your stomach that lingers for hours after a snack that you hardly enjoyed are all potential outcomes of this. There is an optimal approach. Chickpeas that have been lightly roasted or popcorn that has been air-popped with minimal seasoning are two options to consider if you are looking for a crispy snack. When you consume these, you will receive fiber. They are simpler to digest, and they will not cause damage to your teeth or arteries. The challenge is not to abstain from snacking, rather, it is to outsmart healthy snacks that offer the impression of being harmless. Corn nuts provide the impression that they are fun and innocuous, but in reality, they are working against your health as a result of their presence. Moreover, for those of us who are in our 70s and beyond, that is a compromise that we just cannot afford to disregard. The sugar-coated candied nut trap is the sixth one on the list. It is common to find them in gift tins, Christmas markets, and fairgrounds all throughout the country. Not only do they smell fantastic, but they also have a festive appearance. However, after the age of 70, sugar-coated nuts such as pralines, candied pecans, and honey-roasted peanuts come with a delightful little trap that is not discussed nearly enough. One that has an impact not only on your waistline but also on your circulation, brain, and heart as well. It is not the nuts themselves that are hazardous, rather, it is the materials that are stacked on top of them. In most cases, these glossy coatings are produced by combining refined sugar, corn syrup, and additional ingredients such as butter or oil, along with a pinch of salt. Combining these two factors causes a rapid increase in your blood sugar levels, which is then followed by a crash that leaves you feeling exhausted, hungry once again, and with inflammation silently coursing through your system. In addition, if you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, as a great number of people are in their later years, even a single handful might cause your glucose levels to fluctuate for a period of several hours. At this point, the situation becomes even more worrisome. Not only does sugar cause spikes in blood sugar levels, but it also causes blood vessels to become more rigid. It has been demonstrated via research that diets that are rich in added sugars hasten the aging of the arterial walls, make it more difficult to maintain control of blood pressure, and reduce the suppleness of the very system that your heart relies on to remain strong. Moreover, when these sugars are combined with harmful oils during the roasting process, as is the case with many mass-produced candied nuts, you are compounding the damage with oxidized lipids that raise LDL cholesterol and cause silent inflammation in your arteries while also increasing the risk of cardiovascular disease. The dangers to one's physical health are not the only ones involved. These kinds of snacks, which are high in sugar, have been associated with an increased risk of cognitive deterioration in people who are older. Those over the age of 65 who drank a high amount of added sugars had much faster memory loss compared to those who did not drink such a high level of added sugars, according to a study that was published in the United States in 2023. What is the reason? Additionally, sugar contributes to inflammation in the brain, particularly when combined with the kinds of preservatives and additives that are found in flavored snacks. It is not only a problem with one's health, but also with one's habits. Because of the sweetness, a loop is created that can result in excessive eating. Just a handful seems to be innocent. On the other hand, the presence of salt, crunch, and sugar all work together to hijack your satiety signals. Your blood sugar will be totally out of whack for the rest of the evening. And before you know it, that tiny bowl that was sitting on the coffee table is completely empty. Choose nuts that are either raw or dry roasted, and do not contain any sugar or artificial coatings. If you want to enjoy nuts without the associated hazards, a modest serving of plain almonds, walnuts, or even pistachios can be beneficial to the health of your heart, provide you with healthy fats, and provide you with sustained energy without causing you to crash. We need to think about every bite more and more as we get older. And we shouldn't do it out of fear but rather with intention. Moreover, despite the fact that candied nuts could appear to be harmless or only a treat, they come with a price tag that the majority of people don't realize until it is too late. I would appreciate it if you could use the 6th comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Lastly, some thoughts. As we get older, we gain something that we could never have known when we were younger. It is not always about adding more to our lives, rather, it is about eliminating the things that quietly drain us. This is something that we are beginning to grasp. To tell you the truth, the majority of the nuts that we have discussed today are not deadly because of a single bite. The blind spots that they produce make them a potentially hazardous component. Holla, we have faith in their well-being. When we say small, we mean safe. When it comes to the label, we believe that natural means harmless. On the other hand, if we are not attentive, these seemingly insignificant mistakes can build up and have a significant impact on the way we spend our older years. What is the lesson to be learned? This is not dread, rather, it is awareness. When we are in our 70s, 80s, and beyond, every bite that we take is either beneficial to us or detrimental to us. Our ability to make decisions that will keep us robust, stable, and sharp increases in proportion to the degree to which we remain educated. I am now interested in hearing from you. Which of these nuts did you find to be the most surprising? Moreover, what kind of a change are you intending to do beginning today? We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. Your ideas and opinions are very important to us. Therefore, do not be reluctant to share them. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.